in to make history here this evening.
What's up, everybody? Week 6 of the NFL season's here. Last week did 8-6. You were 7-7, 500. But the week before he was 11-2. What do you want? Didn't hit any big parlays or anything like that last week. We had a couple of them out there. I think the Packers kind of screwed us on a couple of them. Just didn't see that. I mean, I just don't know what their deal is. Going into Indy and getting beat. I don't care if it was on a last-minute drive, but it shouldn't have happened. Especially if we say so. But let's go ahead and get started. We got the Thursday night game. Now, we're doing this on Wednesday. It's just easier for us to get it out here this way. And so, these lines might change by the weekend, but we're going off what we got right now.
And we're never sure about the injury updates if players are playing. So
like Castle and, about the only one, Cedric Benson's not playing.
No, you don't.
But Alex Green's going to tear it up for the St. Louis Sack.
You pick him up?
I did pick him up. I needed somebody. Oh, really? We were going to have a cat-free edition, and sure as shit, as soon as we get started, I see the stupid cat's down here scratching, looking at us as soon as he gets on the step. But we left him upstairs thinking, he might not show up, but guess what? The douche is going to show up here in a second.
One thing you count, there's always a little pussy in our show.
Exactly. It's a dirty show. Let's go ahead and get started. We got the Steelers going to the Titans. The Steelers are 6.5-point favorites. I just don't like the Titans at all. The Steelers don't allow any 100-yard rushers, and voila. Chris Johnson, I don't care. He's not going to get 100 yards against the Steelers, and I think they need a running game to beat the Steelers. Not going to happen. Jake Locker's still not there. I just don't like this matchup. Steelers 6.5, lay the points.
Yeah, Steelers' offense is concerned me. They haven't been, producing a lot in the last several weeks. I guess this whole year, really. Tennessee last week under Hasselbeck just didn't look good at all. Always leery about this game, but I'm taking the Steelers to cover 6.5.
And next up, we have the Browns and Bengals. The Bengals are a 1-point favorite on the road. Go ahead and give me the Bengals. Look for them to bounce back. A little disappointing last week with Miami, but as I've been saying almost the last couple shows, I don't think Miami's that bad. But go ahead and give me the Bengals in a bounce back game. Don't like the Browns.
Browns have had
they got young talent.
They didn't play terrible against Baltimore. They didn't look good against the Giants. I'm taking Cincinnati here. I think A.J. Green will have a big game. I'm going to take the Bengals to cover 1.
And then we got the Jets hosting the Colts. The Colts obviously, getting that big win over the Packers. The Jets not so much over... who the fuck did they play?
Jets played Houston.
Houston. Even though they did cover the 9 last week. Thank you, the Talk Rapper. And I got to apologize to the Talk Rapper. I took that bet, the parlay, and that's probably why you didn't hit. The last 2 weeks when you hit those 2 big ones, I was going to play them, just didn't get around to it. I played this one this week, and that's probably why you can blame me for your loss. Sorry. But we're going to make it up eventually for you. And so, but this week, give me the Jets covering 3.5. No other reason than they're at home. The Colts do have Andrew Luck, a young quarterback. Going into New York, going to be tough, even though the Jets' offense is just horrible. Look for them a way to squeak out a win of, maybe 7 points or so.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets at home. I have to think that Rex Ryan is going to have some defensive schemes against a rookie quarterback. Colts have looked really good. I think them and the Rams have been 2 teams that really surprised everyone this year. But I look for the Jets to win here at home.
And next up we have the Buccaneers hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, who are just playing horrible this year. The Buccaneers actually, when I watched their first week of this year, I actually thought they were on the rise. Their defense looked like they got after. I think they played Carolina their first game of the year, and it was first or second game. They were all over Cam Newton. I mean, their defensive backs were all over him, and I was like, oh, this is they're going to do it with their defense. No, they've kind of slid back a little bit. But no Matt Castle, I don't think this week. Give me the Buccaneers. Lay the points at 4. Chiefs shouldn't be in this game.
Yeah, well, you never know with the Chiefs. It's 1 week they look all right, next week they look terrible. Tampa Bay's got an extra week to prepare. Chiefs are banged up a little bit. I like Tampa Bay at home. And one thing about the game last week with Kansas City, cheering when the player got hurt, which was a big thing. And I won't make a big thing of it, but one, I would never do that. Not cool. just like I'll never boo my team, even as bad as they'll play. I'm never going to boo my team. But I lost a lot of street cred with the Kansas City fans that did that.
Yeah, the Arrowhead used to be called Camaro Head Dome for a reason. You know. Next up, we have the Raiders going to Atlanta. Now, just for the bye week reason, like you just said, I think the Raiders, football guru, your Raiders aren't gonna win this game, but I say they keep it within 9 just because of the bye week. The Falcons still are just a really good team, but look for the Raiders with the extra week to prepare, maybe to hang in this game, but not win it. 9 points, I'll take it, and the Raiders.
I'm going to take Atlanta. Atlanta's been playing really well. If I had a sense that Oakland might try and control the ball, use McFadden, run the ball, and keep the offense off the field for Atlanta, I would probably take Oakland. I don't think they'll do it.
They haven't all year.
Yeah, so this could end up being another 3 or 4 interception game for Palmer.
And next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens playing the Cowboys. Tony Romo coming off his 45 interception game, and at home, can the Cowboys rally and cover this 3.5 points? I don't think so. Give me the Ravens. Lay the 3.5 points. The Cowboys got to get their shit together, and I just don't think they're going to do it in Baltimore.
Now, Baltimore did not look good 2 weeks ago against Cleveland. They didn't look good against Kansas City. You got to think that Harbaugh is going to, bite someone's ass and get this team going. Dallas, Romo had the 5 interceptions. Not all his fault. Doesn't look like there's a lot of chemistry between him and the receivers. They're seeing different reads. I got to take Baltimore to cover 3.5 at home.
And much like the Cowboys, the Detroit Lions, who just can't seem to put it together this year, coming off their bye week also, going to Philadelphia. As I've said before, Philadelphia, man, to me, it's just smoke and mirrors. I don't know how they do it. They're not giving the ball to McCoy enough. Mike Vick still, and when I say this, Mike Vick has been on my fantasy team for before he was in jail. As soon as he came out of jail, he was back on my team. He's just not holding on to the ball right now, and I think that's a big part of their problem until they decide to either, sit him down and say, look, ball control, man, we need to hold on to us. But you still got Macklin and Jackson banged up a little bit. But being at home, I really would stay away from this game personally, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles at 3.5 point favorites. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the game, but I'm actually going to take Detroit. They're coming off a bye week. This is a must-win for them. They can't afford to lose this game, go to 1-4 in that division where you got Chicago and Minnesota at 4-1. You've got Green Bay at 2-3. You know they're going to come around.
Exactly.
Detroit cannot, afford to fall another game behind. So I'm taking Detroit to cover and to win straight up. Even though, like you said, I'm not crazy about the line.
And next up, we have our St. Louis Rams above 500 for the first time in, was it
2006?
Since 2006. We are rolling. Going into Miami. Miami's a 3.5 point favorite. I don't like the Rams on the road, but I like them at 3.5. This game is going to be close. As if obviously probably nobody outside of St. Louis has been watching Rams games. They're boring. They're getting it done through defense. Luckily, that was my biggest fear was last Thursday, was to have us getting blown out in some kind of freak game. Just, where it was going to snowball and we ended up looking like shit again on national TV. We didn't. Our defensive ends were just all over the quarterback last week on Thursday night. And that's what we've been seeing. And I mean, if you've been watching our videos, we're from St. Louis. It may look like we've been homers, but we've been right up to this point right now. When we picked them to win, they won. When we picked them to cover, except for maybe the Chicago game, which they were in at halftime, and then kind of the wheels fell off on the road. Give me the Rams at 3.5 points. I don't think they win this game, but I think they can keep it within a field goal.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams to cover here also. You got to think, though, Miami's 2-3. They've lost 2 games in overtime, one of those being at Arizona, which really I thought they should have won. This is not a pushover team at all. Defensive line for Miami looks great, but I'm kind of like you. I see Miami winning a close game, maybe by a field goal. I'm actually taking Miami to win, but St. Louis to cover.
Agreed. Next up, we have the Tom Brady and the Patriots going into Seattle, I think for the first time I've seen. Seattle at home, as we've always said, the 12th man, the noise, the crowd noise, it looks really good on paper, and that's why I'm taking it. 4 points. Give me that, and Seattle Seahawks. I really think they might win this game outright. I think this being the first time in there, the mystique of, Seattle could maybe actually get to Tom Brady. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and take Seattle.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take New England here. As loud as that stadium is, as well as the Seattle defense has been playing, the offense scares me. You got Marshawn Lynch. Don't know if he carries the ball enough. Russell Wilson looks like a rookie. I'm not sure why they're paying Matt Flynn so much money to sit on the bench. I know he's a little bit banged up, so I can understand that. But I think New England's defense has stepped up. I'm going to take New England to cover 4 here.
And next up, if I can get it from the cat, we have the Cardinals hosting the Bills. The Bills not looking very good last week at all. Cardinals do have a defense not quite as good as San Francisco's, but good enough to take them at 5? Question mark? No, I'm going to go ahead and take the Cardinals, -5. The Bills on the road. The Bills are, Fred Jackson, C.J. Spiller, none of them could do squat against San Francisco. Not saying that, the Cardinals' defense is San Francisco's defense, but I think they can keep them down enough to score more than 5.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, Buffalo's given up 97 points, I think, to San Francisco and to New England. Arizona, tough game last week. At home, strong defense. I like Arizona to cover 5.
And next up we have the 49ers and the Giants. The rematch from last year's NFC Championship game, correct? Is that when they played each other in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, they played in the playoffs.
Yeah, look for the Niners to get a little revenge, even though the Giants have a Super Bowl trophy out of it. The 49ers, I just see them squashing the Giants in just a total revenge game from last year's playoffs. 6 points, 6.5 points, I'm sorry. Go ahead and lay them. Take the Niners.
I like San Francisco to win this game, but this game, when you get these two teams together, it's always a tough, close game. I like the Giants to cover 6.5 here. San Francisco defense at home, yeah, but I like the Giants to cover.
And next up we have another good game. The Texans hosting the Packers. The Texans are a 3.5-point favorite. Go ahead and give me the Texans at home. 3.5 points. I like them. The Packers, they lost to the Colts last week. And you're probably going to say this: they cannot lose this game. They're going to need to find a way to win it to stay in this playoff hunt. Because I think Chicago is really good this year, and I think it's going to be hard to catch them if they drop a game like this. But I think the Texans right now are just playing on a different level, and 3.5 points at home, no problem.
Houston is playing on a different level, and I feel bad for Houston because I know in the past year or two, anytime that team starts to get going,
everybody gets hurt.
They get an injury that really affects the team. Losing Brian Cushing is huge for that defense. I know you still have J.J. Watt, you still got other players, but you're not going to be able to bat balls down out of Aaron Rodgers' hands like you did to Mark Sanchez. No. Losing Brian Cushing is, to me, the central point of that whole. I mean, he can blitz, he can cover, he does everything. To lose him going into a game against Green Bay, I like Green Bay not only to cover, I like Green Bay to win this game.
Yeah, the only thing that was pushing me toward Texas was I don't think the Packers can stop Foster.
That's true. I don't know what the extent of B.J. Raji's injury is. That would be huge.
That would be nice to know right now. But I mean, it's like I think they could stop Schaub and Johnson, but I don't think they can stop their running game. It's going to be one of those games where it might be low scoring on paper. It doesn't look like it, but it could be. So, and our last game of the week, the Chargers hosting the Broncos. The Broncos are actually a 1-point dog. Give me the Broncos. Peyton Manning, I'll be honest with you, up to this point has surprised the hell out of me. I did not expect him to be as effective as he is, and then even though against the Patriots in that loss last week, he looked great. Mm-hmm. The Chargers, what are you going to get on any given week? I don't know. Phillip Rivers is a good quarterback. If Antonio Gates is healthy, Ryan Matthews is healthy, but I like the Broncos defense too, even though they lost last week to the Patriots. Broncos +1, I'm good, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm going Denver also, and Not as much. I think the offense are very comparable, but I really like Denver's defense. So I'm taking Denver to cover one.
And before we get out of here, our Cardinals are in the playoffs again. I mean, we went through the same thing last year. This is after the game this afternoon, so we just planted another, eight runs on them. Go Cardinals. I like them to win this series. I like them to win the next series, too. Don't be surprised to see the Cardinals in the World Series again. If the Reds can, I know they're getting smoked right now in the 8th by San Francisco. It's like 8-3. But I still see the Reds squeaking this one out, even though the loss of Cueto.
I think he won't be able to pitch next series.
He won't, and that's the reason I'm saying push them past the Cardinals. Even though there's a little bit of a rivalry, good Lord, rivalry, thank you, between the Reds and the Cardinals are thick-headed mofos, and I mean, they really don't like the Cincinnati Reds. So if they play, then look for a little chip on the shoulder and then to get by. Do they win the World Series against the Tigers or, I'm going to say Yankees maybe? It might be tough, but who knows? But look for the Cardinals being in the World Series again.
Don't count out San Francisco. I think their pitching is it's one of the best stats.
Right, and they got Matt Cain going tomorrow, which, that's a good pitcher. I mean, the guy threw a perfect game this year. What are you going to expect? But go Cardinals. And before we get out of here, Missouri plays Alabama this week at home. That spread was 14 a few weeks ago. Man, we wish we could have put about $400 on that because it's at 21.5 right now. But you might want to take Alabama.
Is that the halftime spread?
And he's an alum with season tickets.
I'm an alum.
With season tickets.
And I'm putting money on Alabama to cover.
He's putting a little parlay together for this week. He's got Alabama covering 21.5 over Missouri. He's got Florida covering 8.5 over Vanderbilt, who beat Missouri last week. He's got 7-point favorite K-State over Iowa State.
But that one scares me.
And he's got West Virginia covering 4 over
Texas Tech.
I think that little parlay is going to pay like 10-1. So, but that's a little college information for you.
But just put money on Alabama, and I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, it might not be very pretty.
If we only scored 15 against Vanderbilt, we're not scoring 15 against Alabama.
But that's what we got this week. Hopefully we're going to win some money. I mean, last week was a little bit of a letdown after the week before. We did make a lot, actually some pretty good bets the week before. Last week, not so much. But hopefully we're going to do better for you this week. Until then,
go Cardinals.
Oh, notice the cat left?
Yeah.
He's like,
we're done.
I'm bored.